Hey guys, I'm making a video today about lens hoods. I've actually been wanting to make this video for a long time. Some of the footage that I've shot for this, I shot back in March of 2021. It's currently January 2022. I just never really found the time to do it, but I'm going to try and do it now. Hopefully it goes smoothly because my baby is sleeping right there and hopefully he doesn't wake up. But I don't want to start with a long rant about lens hoods. I want to jump straight to the story to kind of show you what lens hoods are good for, okay? And then we'll talk about lens hoods a little bit more later. One day, my wife and I were just going out for coffee, and I figured I'd bring along my Sony a6400 out with me, just to see what kind of pictures I can get, just having some fun. I wasn't going out specifically to do any photography. And I had on my 35mm f1.8 prime lens for my camera. And, I wanted to experiment a little bit, so I loaded up a ND filter and I screwed it on and I went and tried to shoot some pictures. And what I found was that the image was very, very sort of washed out looking, low contrast. And so I thought maybe I left it on S-Log2 or something, because I do use this a lot for videos, and I use a custom S-Log2 profile a lot of times for my videos. But I checked the settings and nope, they were not. They were in my regular photo profile, that is to say picture profile off. But as you can see, the photos were very, very washed out. And so I began to experiment, and I realized that it was because I didn't have a lens hood on. And you can see from this clip, as I go to cover the top of the lens like this, the contrast came back. And so I was like, well, there you go. I guess lens hoods do make a difference. So I decided to do a little test, and I took the ND filter off. And, the contrast was fine. And doing this didn't seem to make any difference, as you can see in this video clip. So, I was kind of befuddled. And so I went home and I did some more tests. And you'll see here that I tried shooting that video with the ND filter on, right? And it was washed out. But when I take my ND filter off, the picture was no longer washed out, and putting the lens hood back in front also, it didn't make any difference. And what I found also was that I could easily sort of do the same thing as my lens hood by just putting my hand over the top of the lens. So yeah, anyway. So what did I learn from all of this? What I learned is that if you have filters like ND filters, or I guess potentially, polarizing filters, that kind of stuff, if you put that in front of your lens, then you might suffer from lack of contrast, right? And my guess is because the stuff that they use to make these filters aren't as advanced as the coatings that are on good lenses. And so lens hoods don't seem to make much of a difference with modern advanced coatings on your lenses. They seem to maintain their contrast just fine, with or without these lens hoods. So that's that. Once upon a time I used to love lens hoods. I used to put my lens hood on my Alpha 65 with the 16 to 50 millimeter all the time. It was basically on it all the time. I didn't ever notice a picture quality improvement, but I figured, well, it can't hurt the quality, so I'll just leave it on, right? And it does have some benefits, like it acts as a bit of protection for that front element, because, you know, if you were to bump the front of the lens, it would probably hit the lens hood first rather than the front element. So it has some kind of protective quality. And in light rain, for example, the lens hood could act as a little bit of a shield for water droplets, preventing them getting onto the front element. I mean, I still wouldn't go out in heavy rain, but yeah. After a while, though, I kind of got sick and tired of lens hoods because, you know, you have to install them. Whenever you take them out of the bag, you gotta install them, right? Because if you try to put them back in the bag installed, then it takes up a whole bunch of extra space. So it was inconvenient. I don't like lens caps either as a way to protect the front element, but you know, it does take up less space. The other reason why I stopped using lens hoods was because I also couldn't quite understand how they worked, right? Because, for example, you have this wide angle lens. This is the Sigma 16 mm f1.4, and it's got this very shallow pedal style lens hood, right? And then if you look at telephoto lenses, I don't actually own one, but if you look at long telephoto lenses, they have typically a deep circular lens hood. The only thing I have that can approximate that is my 85 mm f1.4 Sigma lens. This is the length of the lens with the lens hood. That's all lens hood, right? Now this does have a pedal end to it, but you know, most very long telephoto lenses tend to have just a circular, very deep lens hood. So that got me thinking, well, if you need different types of lens hoods, different depths of lens hoods for different focal lengths, well, how is it that a zoom lens only has one lens hood, right? This is a lens that goes from 18 to 135 mils, and yet it's got this shallow pedal style lens hood, right? Of course it does, because it needs to accommodate that wide angle, right? Otherwise you're gonna see the lens hood when you're zoomed out. But then when you're zoomed in, is this shallow pedal style lens hood really going to be sufficient? I don't know. Maybe it has something to do with the front element, like that's all you need to shade the front element. Maybe, but the thing is, like, I also can't really tell the image quality difference with or without a lens hood. And so for all these reasons, I've largely stopped using lens hoods, like just completely. I usually just walk around like this. I still use lens caps, but you know, both for the Fuji X-T200, my Alpha 65, I no longer use lens hoods, except, you know, that one story that I just told you when I went out and I tried playing around with filters. That I can foresee lens hoods maybe making a difference, because these filters aren't as high tech as modern day lenses. The coatings don't seem to handle the glare as well, and tends to decrease contrast. However, as you also saw from my video clips, these lens hoods don't tend to do a great job at compensating for lens filters either, because my guess is they're made to be just barely long enough to cover the front element. And so as soon as you add another element, even if it's only that much to the front, well, this thing is no longer fully shading that front element, and so you're still having problems with contrast. So what's the moral of the story? I'm probably still not going to carry around lens hoods. I still don't carry around lens hoods. But if I ever use a filter, I now know that I may have to do this type of thing. I may have to shade the front in order to maintain contrast in my images. So anyway, that's it. That's this video. This is the video I've been waiting to make for a long time. Hope this helps somebody.